Hi, it's Samantha, and I'm going to be doing the Everyday Chemistry Module 3 experiment about simple cheese. We're going to add 2 cups of milk into this glass bowl. Now we're going to heat up the milk for 30-second intervals until it becomes warm. So we just microwaved the milk for a minute and a half, and it's quite warm now. So we're going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice. So right away I noticed that as soon as I put the fork to stir it, the fork is already a little clumpy. Okay, so it's been a minute and I already start to see some residue on the top. When I put my spoon in it, you can see a little clump. So we're gonna add another tablespoon of the acid and let it sit for another minute and see what happens. Okay, so it's been a minute. So once again, I still see more clumps forming in the milk. So we're gonna add one last final tablespoon of lemon juice acid and we'll stir it again, and this time we're gonna let it sit for 5 minutes. I actually do smell something that smells similar to cheese, so we're gonna let that sit for 5 minutes and we'll come back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. So now we're gonna spoon in the cheese. This is an update about how the cheese is looking. It's very clumpy, so. Okay, we're going to now allow that cheese to sit for 10 minutes. Okay, so here's the drained cheese curds. So we're gonna add a little bit of salt. The cheese automatically falls apart and it still feels very liquidy. As you can see, the cheese is falling apart in my hands. We're gonna let this sit with a weight on top of it for 30 minutes and then come back and see how it is.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's like grainy, which is kind of weird, but it's fine.
So right away after doing the experiment and adding the acid to the milk, right away it got clumpy. Definitely the more acid I put into the milk, the more cheesy and clumpy that it became. For the amount of milk I put into the bowl, which was 2 cups, it really only made a small brick, which I will insert here. The change took place right away when I added the acid. However, the more acid I added, the more change that took place. Changing the pH level is important every other day. Activities, just one example is gardening, because pH changes can help aid in the growth of plants. Overall, just knowing the pH change in everyday life helps keeps us functional.